Okay, so you're tuned into another episode of The Real Krill, where we basically just dissect movies and, we obviously get into the latest and, some of the greatest films that we've seen over the years and just, have throw a bit of caution to the wind and, let our opinions just out of our, open to the world, really. But yeah, anyway, so this movie we're talking about today is The Flash, and it stars obviously the most iconic Flash, Barry Allen. So he's obviously like the main character of this story. Actually, I should really change that because it's called The Flash, but I think it should be called Batman featuring The Flash, because I feel like it's
Maybe
more.
any of us went for the film.
This is it, exactly. It felt like more of a Batman movie, especially from like the trailers, because obviously the trailers were like showing a lot of Batman. So I assume that, I don't know, for some reason I thought there was going to be a lot of Bruce Wayne in this. Like I thought it was going to be basically us seeing all of the different types of Batman, including Christian Bale. For some reason I thought he was going to be in this. So
Well, to be fair, we did see 3 different types of Batman in there.
we did actually, yeah. We did.
So, like, which is more than a different version of the Flash we saw as well. So.
Yeah.
Christian Bale already said he's not doing another Batman unless Nolan's directing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. He said.
No.
Smart man, bro.
Fair. I didn't know you said that, but I feel like that kind of generated my hype for this movie, because I don't know if you remember me saying before this came out, I was like, dude, guys, I think I have a feeling about this movie. I feel like it's gonna be the one. Like, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be the one.
Bro, you're getting confused with Marvel, bro. Marvel will deliver what you want. DC.
Do they though?
DC make amazing trailers. Their trailers are brilliant. And then you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always put the best bits in the actual.
This is the thing.
They
Yeah.
know how to make trailers, they don't know how to make movies.
But you know what's gonna be?
I'm actually glad that Bale wasn't in this movie, because if he was, I don't think it would have elevated the film. To be honest, I think it would have been a waste of the character.
Before we get into the film, I think we should talk about the Flash and the powers shown in this movie.
Okay, go for it.
Wait, okay, well, before that, okay, just to give a quick overview.
just to
This
give
is
an
a very
overview, yeah.
short overview. So the plot of the movie is basically based on the Flashpoint comics. Long story short, Barry the Flash is trying to clear his father's name. His father's been sent to prison and convicted for murdering his mother. Barry has been trying to prove he's innocent for years, and in this movie he basically decides to travel back in time to stop his mother from being killed, ergo saving his father from being blamed for her murder. And then the movie basically goes on to him basically trying to, return to the future to live the life he thought he was going to be living. But then it turns out he loses his powers, and he's kind of messed up the whole kind of timeline, time-space continuity, and it's basically a movie about him rectifying the error and putting things back to how they were, which is kind of the plot in a nutshell, if anyone wants to add anything.
Yeah, that sounds about right,
Yeah, that's
Cool.
pretty much it.
Alright, cool, so powers, Cam, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
All powers
So,
out.
we all know his main powers, he's really fast, he's got a sped up mechanism, and he's part of the Speed Force.
Yeah.
How much of this movie do you think actually focused on? How well do you think it told the story of his powers? Because I feel like it did some things well, and other things it sort of was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, for example, his metabolism, they showed that really well. Obviously, at the beginning of the movie, he needs to get something to eat, otherwise he's not going to have enough carbs in his body to obviously move the speed he needs to move. But
Yeah.
I think they hit that. He ate like twice in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, did they kind of place a lot of emphasis on it, but not follow through with it?
Yeah, at the beginning he was looking at it saying, I need to eat because otherwise I can't. Obviously,
I mean, to be fair, he did lose his powers, so he didn't have to eat. It kind of shifted onto his his younger alternate self. But I do get what you mean. I think, to be honest, I thought that was one of the highlights of the film for me. The emphasis they placed on the fact he needed to eat. It was very comparable to like how like diabetics have like the kind of watch they look at for their sugar levels.
Yeah, so I'm just saying the stuff that they've done. I think they've done relatively well. The other thing is when they're trying to move people, like you obviously Flash moves stupid fast.
Yeah.
And they made a point in this movie to say, don't move people because it's just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, you kill people, innit? Yeah.
Like seeing the babies, I thought was done really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he looks around, he gets something to eat. He's like, how can I move these babies without basically killing them.
Yeah.
Wait, can I just correct? Can I just like ask something? Did you just say the baby scene was done really well?
Well, hey, part of it.
No, but it's like even but
When I say well, I mean,
I have a problem with that
in relation
statement.
to
I don't know.
his powers work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In relation to his powers work, that scene was done really well.
Yeah, because he didn't just go and just catch everyone and put them on the ground in seconds. Yeah, he went through the trouble to show actually while he's moving at that speed, he actually has a lot of things to consider. He needs to consider, you know, his how he can operate his powers by staying, eating food.
I get it.
Sure
I
he
just
doesn't kill anyone,
like
all that kind of stuff. He's got a lot of things to consider.
Okay. What I'll say is the heart was in the right place. The execution just was off.
The CGI
Off
was
target. Just how everything was done. Like
You're going beyond the CGI.
no, just the
think whole
coordination.
thing was
Like
just-
I'm talking about the coordination of, because CGI is one thing, but even if the CGI was good, the coordination of the scene, just the randomness of what's happening, the kind of the and I said this to you before, Ruben, but it's like just the shorthand attempt to get fake sympathy or get like fake emotions. Oh, let's just think of the most sympathetic thing we could think of. Oh, a baby. Where the babies come from. It's just random. It's just like there's no, it doesn't fit into the story. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a random scene to get fake sympathy for these baby. Like, oh, baby in the microwave. Like, what? Who thought of that? Like, that's crazy.
In its defense, in its defense, the movie, they obviously went for something, tried to go for something really impactful at the beginning to wake people up from the get-go and bring that sense of tension, get people on the edge of their seats, and what better to do that than babies falling to their doom.
It just comes out of nowhere.
For you, obviously, it didn't work. For me, it did actually get me engaged in that scene.
Okay.
Because I was shocked. I was like, wow, like, they're actually doing this, bro.
I think
Like,
because and
I
obviously
think what they tried to do that scene was what they did in X-Men.
is it?
Which was what?
Which one? The one with the Quicksilver, where he ran in the building and got everyone out the manor as it was exploding.
Oh right, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
To kind of to show like how time slowed down, all that stuff. Yeah, I thought that scene was probably one of my most enjoyed scenes of the film, which is saying something. But it was one of my enjoyed scenes because it, like Cam said, it showed the extent of his powers. It showed how it also showed how he perceives things while using his powers from the get-go. So you have an insight into Flash is like how he perceives things when he's using his powers. And also as well, it was a bit of humor as well, like the fact he jumped to the machine to get some food. He puts the baby in the microwave, controversial. And
that's the problem for me. I
thought it was a decent execution.
I'll just say this. I don't think any of the humor worked. I can see obviously why they like the direction they went. Obviously, there's a comic book movie. They're trying to make it lighthearted, but it just felt like a bad impression of Marvel. Like they're trying to do those kind of the Marvel humor, but it's just the equation's off. Like I don't know. That's just me. But I guess obviously as a dad, you kind of resonate with that more because you are you have babies you look after. Maybe because obviously maybe if I was a father figure, I would if I was a father, I would be more kind of emotionally attached to that scene.
Bruv, I went to the park yesterday.
It just didn't work for me.
Side story.
It didn't.
I went to the park yesterday while it was raining with the kids, and I was worried that we were going to get struck by lightning, bro. So yeah, after you have a child, the game changes.
I get it. No, I'm telling you. Maybe I'll watch this movie again. Obviously, as you guys know, I'm expecting so. It will have a different impact.
That scene was mainly just showcasing his powers and how he moves.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's a good. I think that's a good idea, Cam. That's what I wanted, but I just felt the way they did it was just
the way they did it.
It was lazy. Yeah, exactly.
I will say as well, just to touch on what you said about the comedy. I mean, I definitely parts of quite funny, humorous, made me laugh and stuff. I think the problem with the Flash, just comparing him to Spider-Man, I think people have a strong expectation, for example, of what type of comedic character, like his wittiness, that Spider-Man brings to like a movie. I'm not sure people have that for Flash. I don't think there's been enough consistency with Barry Allen as Flash to kind of get that he's actually kind of he's serious, but he's also kind of a comic relief character as well. He's meant to have the kind of witty remarks in comparison. He's kind of like the DC version of Spider-Man in terms of that kind of humor. But it's probably just the character development. There hasn't been nearly enough character development to make it believable. To develop the character into, a comedic it can even be a character in DC.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
It
why.
has though, because like in Justice League, like he shows like he was one. I mean, back when before I used to like Ezra Miller, when he was in the Justice League and stuff, I thought it was actually quite lovable in a way, quite kind of like wholesome and stuff. So I think they introduced that fine, especially because you were directly comparing him to all the other characters who were a bit more dark and stuff. So he
Yeah.
was kind of like the light-hearted character, which was nice. But in this one, as Peter said, I don't know. Sometimes the comedy didn't land. I don't know what it was about it exactly, but I think maybe I can't remember who said. Maybe it was Cam who said that sometimes they do compare it with Marvel and stuff, and it just doesn't hit it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think,
Maybe it's
it hit for me personally.
maybe as well. It might be because as well, just in comparison to Justice League, maybe there wasn't enough contrast of other personalities to balance it
That's a
out.
good point,
Whereas in this, maybe they tried to kind of make that part of the main focus throughout the film, and it was just too much.
Yeah, because there was
Maybe
two.
That's why.
There was two Barry Allens in it. That's why it was like an overflow of Barry Allens.
Yeah.
That's why,
You know what? I
it was a bit too
personally-
much sometimes.
I think the problem is, like, this is my opinion, like, I feel like Ezra Miller, like he's a great actor, and like I think he has the personality and the charisma. I feel like his version of Barry Allen would be more, I guess, likable and have more of a character, or like a distinct character, if they had good writers. Because you can't just have a talented actor. You need good, like, talented writers to kind of write that character's personality and like just make it, like, give him that those defining attributes that is, like, I guess recognizable. So you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I feel like Marvel do that a lot better than DC. So that's why we haven't really had like really popular DC movies. Or
The characters haven't been able to really bring out and flesh out the characters enough with the writing behind it.
This is it.
No, I agree. I mean, this version of Ezra's version of Flash, he's kind of like the awkward kind of teenager kind of character, which is not a version of him used to seeing. Usually, I expect Flash to have a bit more confidence, but he's kind of playing. He's almost compared Ezra's role in that Fantastical Beasts movie, kind of awkward. Kind of young, I don't know if you've seen that, but he plays that kind of awkward, kind of introverted character as well. And that is actually kind of what he's doing in this film as well. He's playing that awkward kind of character, trying to use humor as a crutch to get by his awkwardness and be social. So it's a good foundation for a character. But yeah, maybe if there was just a bit more stronger script writing behind it to flesh it out, make it more believable and elevate it. The acting only takes you so far, and the character only takes you so far, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's one more part of his power I want to talk about. That is actually the running, which I thought was done really poorly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that one.
Why is my man posting like a figure skater to run like he's got a charge up?
He
Not only
runs
that,
like
but as he's running, he runs like slow, like he goes like that. Even though he's running really fast.
it doesn't make any sense.
So he starts off running. He starts off moving fast, and then it's like he starts going so fast. You get the impression that his momentum maintains that speed, but then he just has to kind of skate.
So you're telling me?
Personally, I thought look cool.
No,
So Ruben, you're telling me you're telling me he runs so fast, his bones turn to jelly. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because that's how it feels. Like,
you saw what he tried to do when he didn't have his powers. He tried to run. That looked so stupid.
He looked like an idiot. Yeah, he looked like an idiot.
Which is cool that they actually like made fun of their own stupid running, but at
know
the same
what?
time just don't have the stupid running.
I feel like this.
I'm not sure if they were making. I mean, were they making fun of their stupid running, or were they just trying to
It
contrast
looked
it?
pretty stupid, man, when he's running.
No. It definitely looked. That was definitely stupid. I just mean in terms of. Are they also taking the piss out of him running when he doesn't have his powers? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
It kind of looked like they were trying to say the strength of his legs was pushed him far enough where he didn't able to take as much steps, and that's not how his powers work.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was touching the floor, because when he starts running, doesn't he almost like
I could
have a little gap?
that.
No, because I thought like when he starts running, he almost like lifts. He has like a small gap off the floor between his feet and the ground. So I thought they were kind of trying to say it like.
I don't remember that, but if that's the case, that's even worse.
I don't know. Yeah. I thought it looked alright anyway. Yeah, but That's just me. I'm by myself in that, bruv.
Yeah.
But I think what it is as well is that, you know, I prefer seeing that, being able to see and take it in, as opposed to just seeing a blur, because that's what we would have gotten if they tried to show him running at superhuman speed. We would have got a blur of not even seeing his feet, maybe not really seeing his hands, maybe just seeing his head, you know what I mean? So maybe that's what they didn't want to do. They wanted to avoid just blur and actually be able to show him during the running scenes.
Maybe, but there's good ways of doing it, because like one thing I've seen like a lot online recently is they compare it directly to like a good speed running thing, and usually it's obviously Quicksilver and stuff, but the one thing Eternals got right in that awful film is that the speed runner was actually really well done, and like the special effects used for that speed runner was actually really cool to see. So that's the way I think it should have been done to kind of show
I agree.
his abilities. But
yeah,
that whole slow running weird stuff.
The skating, bro. The skating.
Yeah. It's like, you know what?
I couldn't get over the pose he took every time he wanted to start running. It's like he's the pose my life. He just
the pose is a bit much. The pose was really.
What
That's the way for like these kind of things would be, you know, like the runners, like Usain Bolt, where they go on the ground like that. That's a good pose to start running and stuff. But
and actually, he does that in the cartoons
like that,
sometimes.
One thing
I was saying sometimes they do that in like the cartoons with the Flash. They make him start in an actual runner's pose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so good.
No, I like that.
I don't know if it was if they were just, you know, they thought it looked cool but it didn't, or if they were trying to say, you know, as he's so immature, he's doing it because he thinks he looks cool. I don't know.
Can I just say?
He was the mature one.
Yeah, can I just say?
In this movie, he was the mature one. So if that's
yeah, that's true actually, because like because during the film it actually kind of shows that he actually knows quite a lot, especially when you kind of compare him to his old one. So I think as he evolved into the Flash, he would have definitely stopped that weird pose.
Because like he phased through materials and that looked all fine. It's just then he started running. I was like, don't do that.
No, just because we're talking about powers before you go on, Cameron, the phasing, I thought that was done quite well.
The
phasing was done quite well, and that scene where they kind of show the atoms and molecules, just phasing through, I thought that was pretty cool as a way of showing, you know, how it actually works. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the
phasing. Most of his powers they got right. It's just the running was atrocious.
Yeah.
But I do want to also that I quite like that they did. I don't know if they've done it in other kind of films, but you know when he actually does. Okay, we'll go back to the awful pose. But when he actually does it, there's an angle where it goes onto his foot, and then you can just see the whole, like his surroundings just kind of stretch. It goes, when it goes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That I thought was very impactful for him to just start running. So that little thing was pretty cool, but.
Kind of like him going 0 to 100.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some bits they thought about well, some bits they didn't. So
and I felt like the pose. I did like that kind of signature, like having that obviously recurring, because obviously that it kind of builds up that you know, the hairs on the back of your neck, and like you know it's about to go into like a running scene, like which is supposed to be obviously on execution. It's supposed to look really cool. But what you said, Subi, about like how within the Eternals, like how the best thing about that is the running, and I feel like I would have loved the Flash a lot more if you know, the running scenes actually looked really good. Like that was like the best thing about it, because I feel like fundamentally the hero of your film has like they can be likable. They can like be what's the word, like be virtuous, so they can be like a good guy, they can like have the best intentions, but if you don't give them like that moment to shine, like so they look like they actually look cool, then I don't think audiences will really root for them, or really, like, if you think about it, like every character that you're into kind of has that moment of just being badass or like just being awesome. Because if you think about, like with Sonic, he didn't really have much of a personality, but I think every Sonic, if Law was here, he'd agree, every Sonic fan just loves the thing they love about him the most is his speed. Like the speed was good. So
basically what you're saying is, when you have a hero, don't mess up his one good power.
Exactly. I think that's what they did.
I think also what you're saying is a lot of but we're not going to see anyone trying to run like this Flash on the street. And if you do, clap them on the back of the head, bro. Like what you did. No one's going to try to do that on the street, bro.
Exactly.
I mean, next time we go to Comic-Con, let's see if anybody tries it.
I doubt it, man.
There will be someone. They were
Oh,
making
yeah.
that look really cool. And they dressed up and they were like, I'm like, no, stop, just don't.
I just hope that you know, obviously with James Cameron like flipping to you know, a brand new DC, I hope that he brings in a brand new Flash and he actually like has a clue of how to make the Flash look good. Like I get that obviously the story was emotional. I will say that there were times where I was like, okay, yeah, that kind of worked. Certain things did work, certain things didn't. But I just feel like they need someone who knows how to like make the Flash look good, and I feel like James Cameron can probably do that. Or James Cameron, sorry, James Gunn. Did I say James Cameron? Sorry. Well, him as well, if he gets in.
Wait, just quickly, what did you guys think about the costume? Because was the costume slightly different than it was in Justice League?
Yeah,
So what did you guys think about the design? Better or worse?
It was actually quite good because it was more in line with his comic counterpart kind of thing, with the old like kind of stretchy suit and stuff. I think overall it was good. I can't remember anything I disliked about it. What do you guys think?
The only thing I did like is it didn't look like something he could have made himself.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's always the case with bloody superheroes. It's never what they can't make it on their own.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about his headpiece. If it looked a bit different, he kind of had like he had a bit of a sloped head in this, the helmet. Whereas in Justice League, it looked a bit like more it was built around his actual head. This looked a bit more like it was a helmet. That's the only thing that I thought was a bit kind of distasteful when I think I saw like a side by side of the Justice League version and this version, and it just looked a bit like more like a helmet. But that's the only thing that I kind of. The only
thing I liked about the costume is the explanation they give of like how he puts it on. Like it shoots out of his ring, and it's like it starts off really tiny because it's just so ridiculous. Like you can't help but laugh. Like it like blows up, and then he puts it on while like in midair.
And he made it himself.
Somehow.
Well, I think that's the thing because I think Subi said like the movie parts of this movie really impression that obviously he is quite smart and intelligent, and I think Barry Allen is meant to be like quite smart and intelligent. He's meant to be like isn't he like a scientist or something?
He's a forensic.
But the thing is, he can. I mean, because of his powers, he can think incredibly fast as well. So I guess he could probably about certain things and like.
Yeah, it wasn't showcased in this movie.
Yeah, it wasn't
not nearly enough to make you think this guy's actually smart. Like, not nearly enough. It just kind of felt like he just happened to know some things about that field of science randomly, but it didn't really flesh out to actually, you know, he knows this stuff to a T. Like he's been reading up on it. He knows he's the guy. You didn't get that impression, which I thought was maybe a bit.
That's I always like, kind of like I don't know if you guys watched the CW version of Flash, which started off really good and wasn't great after, but Grant Gustin was a really good Flash. He really encapsulated what Barry Allen is. So like sometimes you kind of compare this Barry Allen to the Edward, kind of compare it, and you
can see where it's lacking.
Something they could have really like. They should have definitely learned some lessons from the CW version of how to conduct how Barry should be, and one of those things is exactly like showing his capabilities in science and like his academic skills and everything. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that really missed the mark on.
Yeah, because it's like sorry, just to like skip ahead. Yeah. Like so when after he's gone back in time and he's trying to recreate the first time he's trying to when they break into the lab and he's like just stand here, you just get hit by chemicals and you get struck by lightning. And then later on, when he's trying to get his powers back, he's the same thing. Here's a book. I've got some notes on it. Get struck by lightning, just get doused with chemicals. It's like, bruv, what are these chemicals? Like, how does this work? Like, can you make it believable that suddenly just knowing you're not just dousing random things from the hardware store, like, which by the way, when he eventually does get his powers back together and just left the chemicals out and just let him get struck by lightning. But yeah, I just thought that was a bit weak as well. They didn't really make that believable that he knows how to actually recreate the accident which gave him his powers. It just kind of felt a bit forced and quite short.
And I feel like they had definitely the time for it because it was a 2-hour 20-minute movie. So like they had a lot of time to do a lot of like explaining things out.
So we spoke about the Flash. What did you think about Supergirl?
I when I went in, I wasn't too keen on Supergirl from like trailers and stuff, but as I actually watched the film, she grew on me during the film. I
Yeah.
would say I think she did a pretty good job.
I'll be honest, like she looks good. Like that costume looks amazing. I think.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel that she had enough presence in the movie to really make her memorable. Like I get that obviously that she had she obviously Barry kind of it was a big plot point with her in the movie, but I don't know, she just didn't really have much of a personality, and it just kind of her storyline came out on like halfway through the movie, so it's like there wasn't enough time to build that attachment. I don't know if you guys know what I'm like agree with what I'm saying.
No,
Yeah, no, exactly.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
For me, she just she kind of just felt like a counterpart to DC Superman, like, you know, this kind of a dark spin on Supergirl as opposed to the blonde, bubbly version. She was just kind of a counterpart to the current DC Superman. I thought she was quite likable. I did like the costume. I did like the fact that she was, you know, kind of more darker take on the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do know what you mean. To flesh out her character. Well, there was time, but they didn't. This was a Flash and Batman movie. She was strictly more kind of supporting, plot divisive character. So yeah, not really. It wasn't really. You couldn't really care about it, especially like she like dies towards the end. I didn't get this. Yeah, multiple times. I didn't get the sense of lost like character, because you just haven't built that kind of, you know, feeling for the character, because it's, you know, her presence isn't there.
What I will say is she had a very impactful entrance, as in not when you first see her, but when she first gets to the sun and she starts taking man down. My only issue with that scene is that even though she was at full strength, an angered punch from a superpowered Kryptonian would have put it through their body rather than
Wait, what? You mean when she first got outside? She wasn't at full strength when she first.
No, I'm saying even though she wasn't at full strength, her throwing an angered fist at a human would have put her fist through their body, not just throw them around. Even if she was at full strength.
I think that's debatable. She's been deprived of the sun since she basically got to Earth. So that's debatable. That's debatable. I mean, I think it's I think they maybe even slightly exaggerated her capabilities with her speed and her flying. I thought maybe they would have made her a bit more weaker in that scene. But yeah, she basically just took me down. Did they have a slowdown scene with her in this movie, like as in from her being fast? Did they have a scene where they kind of? I don't think they did. Did they?
I think there was a small one when she was passing Barry, but I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Because I think she had like a sped up scene where you see her moving quickly, which arguably is what they maybe should have done with the Flash in the first place, make him look cool. But I think they've done her pretty well. Well, and I did like, obviously a bit cheesy and something they probably could have built on a bit more to make you care, but I did like the fact that, you know, when Barry meets her, you know, he says, like, got you, and then later when she takes him to get struck by lightning, she replicates and says, you know, I've got you. They were trying to build that and between the characters.
He's the person that's been nice to her, isn't it? So
yeah, but it was just a bit forced, you know what I mean? It was, like you said, because her presence, you could clearly feel it was forced, although you could still appreciate it was the beauty in it. Like, you can see what they're trying to do with it. Yeah, cool.
So it's the elephant in the room, the Batman.
Oh yeah, the Batman. Yeah. Are you talking about Michael Keaton? Because you have to be specific. There was more than one Batman. Or you just talking about Batman overall?
Let's start with Affleck Batman, and then we'll work our way to Keaton.
Just quickly.
Are we working backwards? Are we working backwards?
Bro, am I the only one?
Affleck was at the beginning. Yeah.
He came first in the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just
beginning with his new suit?
Can I just ask? Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but am I the only one that thinks Ben Affleck looks like a meth head? Like the way he's like lost so much weight. I'm like, bro, what the heck happened to him, bro? Like, he's just so corn. I'm like, damn, man, jeez, like he aged like a good 10 years.
He knows he's not gonna be Batman anymore, so he hasn't really like stayed in shape. Obviously, muscle shape, so he's still thinner now and stuff. He's in good shape, but
I thought he'd get fat. Like most actors just get fat. Like he's. I'm not trying to sound bad, but he's like lost so much weight, like.
Yeah. Arguably, maybe that's what, because remember, he's meant to be old man Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Even in Justice League, like, you expect him to be kind of like a bit more older, maybe a bit more decrepit. But yeah, they wanted him to bulk up to try and get the fan following.
I guess
to
so,
prove that he
yeah.
could play Batman.
Yeah.
But really, he probably didn't need to as much.
He probably did. Yeah, he probably got sick of like eating all these calories, I guess. So, yeah. But yeah, sorry, Subi, you were saying something before I interrupted you. I don't know if you want to.
I can't remember what I was going to say, but I just wanted to point out that I've seen some pictures of him in his bat suit, like, was it behind the scene pictures? He looked good in those. So sometimes apparently, like, they do some weird CGI stuff as well to him, and it makes it look weird.
Maybe.
So that could also be it. But oh yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, what I was going to say is that what did we think of his suit? Because a lot of people
didn't like it.
Were a bit into minds about his exoskeleton. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
I liked the suit he had in Justice League. It was an amazing suit. But what I liked about it is that it mirrored his character. It mirrored the fact that it's old man Bruce Wayne. He's gone through battle. His suit is torn up. It's got scars and scratches. He's basically sellotaped back together. So I like that. In this movie, the way that they, like you said, kind of the exoskeleton, the metallic bits, I just kind of felt a bit like what. I don't know what they were trying to achieve. I don't know what they were trying to achieve. What did they want? What did they expect people to?
Yeah.
You know.
No, I'm agreed. Yeah, the cowl and the cape looked awesome, but everything underneath was very questionable.
I never really noticed it, to be honest. I'm looking it up now.
I mean, I didn't even really like the cowl and the cape because it was basically just a CGI throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because like I said, in the behind the scenes, he looks really good with the cowl and the cape because it's actually real, but yeah, the CGI-ness of it, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It really tainted how good.
We're not talking about Keaton. We're still talking
Affleck.
Affleck. Yeah. I just I'm still not sold on Affleck as Batman in general, to be honest. But
he's out now, so.
Well, he's been alright, but I just he doesn't really mirror the dark Batman that I like. He's still
maybe you need to rewatch. I mean, okay, it's not a great movie, but Dawn of Justice with the ultimate cut with actual violence and stuff. That's a good.
It's just some freeze frames where he just looks confused, and I'm just like Batman.
Okay,
Batman's not ever meant to look confused, dude.
I've just seen a very questionable Batman photo, so I'm gonna hold this up to my the camera. Good. Like, dude, why is this? Hold on, can you see it?
Blurry. It's blurry.
It's too blurry. Oh no.
It's
camera's not on my side.
What did you want to say about it?
Anyway, bro, I don't know what to say.
I can't see.
Basically, is I'll put it in the group chat so you guys can see, because this
is Batman on his motorcycle.
On his motorcycle, yeah. It just looks very questionable.
Let me see this. The Batman.
Yeah, it was a bit like forced at the beginning as well when they tried to do the whole kind of Justice League thing. I think a mate of mine said it as well, like it was forced to try and show them as like this team who's working together and coordinating and stuff, when really it's just really the Batman. Batman just coordinate.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, man.
No, bro, what is this madness, bro? What is it?
I don't know. I have no words.
Oh god.
What's with the front? It looks like he's got it's not a full tire. It's like half.
Yeah, it's true as well. Yeah, I think because it's on like wheels. It's like on top of wheels. I think that's what it is.
Oh god.
Yeah, man. That's something I wish I didn't see today. I'll be honest.
So yeah, that's probably what Cam was talking about. They CGI'd the cape while he was driving.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's really weird, man.
All right, I'll definitely mean. Yeah. Fair play. Cool. So I mean, yeah. Well, Ben Affleck aside, he's not in the movie for that. Things shift over.
Yeah. His best scene was when he was telling Barry not to go back in time.
Yeah, actually, arguably, yeah, and he was Bruce Wayne in that film, right?
Bruce, yeah.
That was actually quite like, because obviously he was talking about his parents and he was trying to put across the, the importance and danger of that was actually quite powerful.
But if you don't like him as Batman, you can at least admit he's a pretty bloody
he's a decent Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't hate him as Batman. It's just I think it's just not convincing enough for me. But that's just me. Like I can watch him and enjoy him. He's not bad or terrible. But yeah.
So we're moving on to Keaton now, yeah?
Yeah. Keaton.
Oh yeah, Keaton.
His intro scheme was very interesting.
Oh, Keaton is from Batman Forever, is it? Is that
The very
he
first one,
did?
Batman and Batman not Begins. Sorry, Batman and Batman.
Forever?
Forever.
No, not Forever. Is it Forever?
Returns.
Yeah,
Returns.
yeah.
Oh, it was Returns. Yeah.
Batman Returns.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
Tim
Tim for
Burton.
me was really the appeal of the movie, if I'm being honest. Like.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Man.
And yeah. It's
Yeah.
a very cheap tactic to use, but it really is monopolizing that nostalgia that you have from. You know what I mean? It's monopolizing on the nostalgia, like.
And he did it really well because obviously his first scene, he basically takes down to the Flash,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yeah, this guy is Batman.
Yeah. No, I thought I was happy that obviously I think someone said I don't know if it, like one of the things Marvel done well is that they kept the anticipation of the fact that obviously Andrew Garfield was going to be in the film, and obviously we knew quite Keaton was going to be in there, so maybe that's why some of the enjoyment was lost. But even so, just seeing him in the film and hearing some kind of iconic lines from his movies, it just gave me tingles. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know.
He's still first wearing his suit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and the music, you hear the iconic music when you go to the Batcave. I think he says one of his lines is, did he say like "let's dance" or something? Like, oh no, you want to get nuts? Like,
Yeah, let's get nuts. Yeah.
Like that. I'm pretty sure that's a line from like one of the.
Yeah, from the original movie.
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Yeah. So it was just a blast and fun to see. I'm glad he was in it. The movie would have been less.
I'm glad they kept most of his original suit.
Yeah. And you still got the thing with like the kind of they didn't change the helmet or the neck. You know the neck,
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? You still got that kind of awkward like body kind of thing. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. The emblem as well. Did the emblem have like yellow in
Yeah,
in
it did,
the-
yeah.
Yeah.
But most of it was original. I think some of it was slightly changed, but not. You'd notice it's been what 20, 30 years since the first one.
Yeah. What did you think of the kind of like the fight scene? Well, I think it was only one or two fight scenes, but what did you think of kind of the fight scene he was in when they went to rescue Supergirl? Because for me, I thought that was fantastic depiction of him using the batarangs. I've been waiting to see a version of Batman use the batarangs like Batman does, and I think that's the first time I've actually seen it done in modern day.
Oh, did it?
I'll have to rewatch. I can't remember if we done it like properly. Like I didn't done it like
He
from
made
it and like.
he made a purpose of him shaving it down, so because it was thrown wrong, remember?
Yeah, but did he like take out like multiple weapons with like one swing, like one throw, like a boomerang? I'm not sure if I've seen, but I thought the way that it was done in this movie was pretty cool. I thought it looked like it reminded me of the cartoons. Oh, that is pretty cool.
And that's the way that he did it in a way that Batman would, as in he wasn't out there brawling, he was taking him down stealthily, tactical. It was a tactical takedown. It was just like it was nice.
Yeah, and obviously it was obviously like CGI was used to make it as fluid as possible. So obviously it wasn't like own stunts or anything, but it looked, some of it looked a bit animated, but it just looked like Batman, believable Batman. Looked cool.
Tactical takedown. That's Batman.
Yeah, I feel like most of the CGI budget they used for Batman scenes really. they knew they wanted to do that.
Yeah, as I said, Michael Keaton had.
Well done. Every Keaton scene, like I said, it just got me hyped. And then like, every time you went back to the Flash scenes, you're like, oh god, when's the next Keaton scene coming?
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton had two requests to sign on to this movie, and they were like, obviously, apart from paying him, they were like, he was like, number one, make me look good, and number two, take me out of the movie. And I feel like they basically accomplished both of those things to a T, really. So
no, it was cool, man. It was cool. Just a lot of use of nostalgia. Some people won't appreciate if younger appreciate it, haven't seen the movies, and people who maybe didn't enjoy his version of Batman may not have enjoyed it as much. But yeah, a lot of Easter eggs from him being in there. Even like, how much do you like? Just kind of tingled my brain and took me back to, because I think he said that in the old movie as well. Like when he saves one of the actresses, he's like. So yeah, just a lot of Easter eggs that kind of just bring you back to younger, more happy, innocent times when you were a kid.
Yeah. I did also like his Batplane as well. That was pretty cool.
Is that one?
The Batplane.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that was badass, man. And him just jumping out of it, the moon and the right behind him is swinging down. bullshit, man.
Yeah, he's like, where's your parachute? And that was Batman. You see that, bro? You see that right there? That was Batman. Where's your parachute? That was Batman, bro. That is Batman right there, bro. That is Batman.
That is Batman. Yeah.
That is no, but that is what Batman's about, bro. That is what Batman's about, bro. Just like no response, bro. Just, I'll see you on the ground, innit?
Yeah. That's perfect. That's absolutely. Good shit.
Yeah.
So are we gonna so it was then Michael Keaton. Obviously we had the George Clooney. Yeah, but he was only kind of like after credits, really.
It's a cameo.
It was like a little
It's a
cameo.
cameo.
Yeah, how'd that scene make you feel? Like, did you happy or?
I mean, I was laughing and stuff. Like, that's pretty funny. I
was
took
like,
it more as a joke rather than me caring much about, because obviously he wasn't really known as a good Batman.
Yeah.
It's more for comedic purposes that it ended up being him showing up at the end.
The thing is, it's interesting to see how they're going to change it. Because obviously, this is now technically the universe is supposed to be in, but I can't see them using him as the next Batman.
No, I don't even think he's meant to be in. He's not in Clooney's universe. I think that was just an Easter egg. I think what happened is that when he was telling Aquaman about it, it was like in past tense. I think it was just meant to be like a little Easter cameo thing. I don't think it actually means anything. I thought that they were going to use scene to introduce maybe the new actor who they get for Batman future, but they kind of wasted it on Clooney, which is a bit of a laugh, but it's not impactful. It doesn't really bring anything. It's just a giggle, isn't it?
But either way, I mean, it wouldn't have worked because, like, I don't think they're going to be able to keep Ezra Miller as the Flash. So whatever they did at the end, it would have not happened anyway, because they're going to definitely recast him. They definitely could.
I also think they should have recast him for this movie. That end scene should have been him coming back as a different Flash.
No, do you know what would be sick, bro? They might as well just get a different Flash. Like, just get Impulse or someone, bro. Just get rid of Barry Allen. I know it's deep to say that, but
no Wally
all Wally West. Yeah, just get Wally West. That'll be, rather than cast him, just go Wally West. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Can we just like briefly talk about the elephant in the room, which is basically the climax? The ending where all the timelines start to converge, and like my mind was just exploding because I was like, "What the heck am I watching?" I was like, "What is happening right now?" But yeah, man, there was a lot. You know what? I felt like this is basically DC were just like, you know what? Multiverse is in right now. Multiverse is like what we need to get into. So we're gonna have the most fan service movie, or like is in the ending. Let's chop like literally everything, including the kitchen sink. Yeah, exactly. Just put go back into the archives and just like dig out as much memorabilia.
I did like seeing Christopher Reeves and obviously Helen Slater, Adam West. I didn't care about seeing them.
I liked seeing them, but I did think it was a bit forced.
It was very forced because it was not earned. It was not earned because at least like
it was good, but it was just forced putting them together. Because those versions. Superman and Supergirl never met.
They were never together.
So it was a bit forced.
Yeah. Oh, very forced.
Nicolas Cage was a laugh.
I don't understand why his scene was so goddamn long.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into his one.
Because I kept hearing like months in lead up to the movie about Nicolas Cage was once to be cast as.
There was a movie that got scrapped that he was supposed to be in.
Yes, Tim Burton.
Okay, so that's actually why they put that in.
That's the reason why.
I don't understand why they could have done what they did with.
That was funny, bro. That was funny.
You know what's annoying though? Because I had that ruined for me mainly because I was searching for Across the Spider-Verse and I was like, oh, is Nicolas Cage gonna be back for the next Spider-Verse? And I tapped his name in IMDb and I saw his credits for the Flash.
That it got spoiled for me as well, but not that way. I was watching a review and like they felt it was necessary to drop that in there, so I was like, yeah.
Oh man.
But it just didn't have the same impact, did it? Like when you
it really didn't. I mean, even if I was surprised, I probably would have loved it. Like it was fun.
It's a laugh,
everything about the whole scene was a bit forced.
Yeah.
Fan servicey in an okay way, but just felt like they knew the movie wasn't great, so therefore let's just put it.
We need a time filler. Just put some madness in. Make it as confusing as possible so no one knows.
Well, they were trying to do.
Faces everywhere. rubber faces all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to do before, like they were trying to do basically No Way Home or Far From Home, sorry, where basically they brought back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
That was No Way Home. You got it right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So they brought them back, and obviously, you know, it was the big greatest fan service, and it, you know, made loads of money. So I think they were trying to. Sorry, none of it was needed. Yeah, but yeah, no, but going to the CG, what you were saying. Obviously, I don't know if you guys really want to debate. Obviously, you know the politics. I don't know if Subi, I don't know if Ruben.
As in the reason why it's supposed to be bad.
It's
like
so bad. But you did share a post.
They're not debating the CG, so you know, I think we can all agree it's poor. So,
but do you know why? Because I think like Subi, you did share like a post on your Insta, and like, I thought it was like really eye-opening.
Because the director said that apparently the CG is purposely bad because this is how the Flash kind of views the world in a less realistic kind of standard. I don't know. It was some weird explanation that made most people are making absolute fun of him for saying that crap.
That is some BS, bro. Like,
but then, but you know what? I, like as like far-fetched as an excuse that is, there's actual, because that's not the one I was talking about. I was talking about the one you shared. No, it's fine. No, because I did hear that the director was trying to justify the bad CG, but there was also like VFX artists justifying
that one,
because the fast-paced nature of like the way these Hollywood movies come out, and there's so many VFX shots that are required, and obviously the deadlines and like the short-paced nature of how much time they actually get to work on, these VFX artists get to work on the CG. So for that reason, because the deadlines were so short, and like there was, I think a lot of VFX artists were leaving the production, so that's why they were unable to really make like it look polished. The CG didn't look that polished, or it didn't look
right.
It needed a little bit more rendering or work just to get it up to scratch. But
because as you mentioned before, because you said that it was because like they don't really care about the state of a film or like you know, how many audience get. I mean, they seem to care more about the shareholders.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
They want to get the money from the shareholders to show, you know, they're banging out all these movies, give us more money, all this kind of stuff. So that's why they just want to bang out as much as they can. I mean, it's the age-old saying, quantity over quality. That's what's we're in.
Yeah,
to please the
exactly. This is it. They need to slow it down, man. No pun intended. But yeah, they need to slow it down and like just take a bit more time with like releasing these movies, because again, the VFX industry literally can't keep up with the pace. Because they're obviously just more concerned about, like, again, as you said, to be pleasing their shareholders and making sure they're getting their money's worth. But
like the effects aside, what did you guys think about like how they portrayed the Flash's perceivable of time travel? How did you?
I like this. The carousel.
Yeah, the kind of bubble and the events and the segments.
I mean, it was a cool.
I honestly thought that was actually quite a cool concept. Yeah. Obviously, if let's pretend the CGI was good, then I think it would have been really cool, because I think the concept of that kind of, as you said, that room of time travel and you see all the different universes was a very cool idea, I'd say.
Yeah. And that's the key word, idea. Like, the idea was great. It's just the execution which was what fell flat. So we have to make that distinction, because I think we all agree that we love the concept, like, you know, the ideas they had. You know, when I said to you, Subi, I think the first draft of the script was probably the best. Like, they had really good ideas in terms of like symbolism with like, you know, using even the tin of tomatoes. And this, like like Michael Keaton with the spaghetti, obviously they're using that as a way to kind of interconnect the storyline, the time travel storyline. So I mean, again, there's really deep stuff here, but you know, if you really mine for it, I feel it's there. But I just feel like the execution was not done correctly. But Ruben, I don't know if we had the conversation not too long ago, but you were telling me something. Yeah, you were telling me the biggest plot hole about this movie was the fact that they never addressed who killed Barry Allen's mum. Like, it was all about like, how can we save her? But there's never any.
If you ask me, that is the real elephant in the room, bro. Because that is meant to be what instigates this whole movie.
Yeah. I know why they didn't do it as well, because if they did that, then they have to introduce Reverse Flash.
It's true, but still, bruv, that is like the thread that connects the entire comic, bruv. Like, how his mum dies, bruv, and it was just left really empty. How not only did they obviously they didn't have Eobard Thorn, they didn't how it was back to save his mum from Eobard Thorn, but they didn't. What got me is that they didn't even make the character question. Hang on a minute, how did my mum die?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go back and save her, but he at no point did he question or anyone question, aside from just blaming the dad. Actually, how did she die? Are we to believe she just slipped and fell on the knife? Because that's what I'm getting, like, you know, she accidentally impaled herself. I thought that was really weak. At least they could have at least put something cheesy and cheap in there, like a random rubber with like a come on, like just something to fill that gap. But they didn't even do that, so I thought that was, you know.
Another error in this is the fact that even though his mama didn't have to go back to the store, she still should have died, even if he was in the house.
I think that's why it's trying to suggest that it was more like a rubber than.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily have died, but you know, again, it's the event. It's like maybe they could have addressed the fact that maybe someone broke into our house a couple years. You know what I mean? Like just address the event, because the event still would have happened. It's just that it would have played out differently.
Yeah, the other difference would be he wouldn't have been.
He was home.
He was home. He wouldn't have been one of the suspects.
Yeah, well, maybe someone came to the house, saw him in there, and was like, "I'm muffled," you know.
Yeah.
I don't want it. But yeah, I just thought it was very weak. Like, you know, I would have loved to have seen. Obviously, like you said, they're ending this version of the Flash, so I understand why they maybe didn't want to introduce another character. But it's such a main part of the plot line.
Yeah.
That how could you not at least partially try to fill it with something for consistency's sake? Yeah, I don't know. It was just weak.
Yeah,
Weak,
I agree. It just didn't add up. I think they did obviously kind of make it abundantly clear that he wasn't really trying to interfere too much with what do you call it, like time travel. So he was obviously trying to make the most those like nonchalant kind of impact with that whole scenario of like, you know, with the tins to adjust it without causing, because they did explain the butterfly effect. So I think that's the reason why they don't touch on like who murdered her and like how things happen exactly, because again, he's trying to stay at arm's length from that whole situation. So
I did actually at the time, the whole I think we're just gonna have to call it the spaghetti explanation now. But at the time, I didn't really like the spaghetti explanation how time travel worked in this movie. But after thinking about it, actually, a bit of a fresh take on, you know, the whole idea of that, you know, if you change your future, you're not just changing. That was actually.
Sorry, bro, you cut out.
I don't say all of that.
Sorry.
Yeah, you need to say that again, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying it was quite cool that the explanation they gave for time travel was you don't just change the future. If you change something in the past, you change the whole gradient, so it affects your future and your past predating that as well. Nice. So I thought that was pretty cool to explain actually how his entire history has changed.
It's not a new one. It's an explanation we've given before. If you change something, there's always ripples.
Yeah, we get ripples. Yeah, but
he was saying that each strand was like a different universe, which is like the multiverse.
Yeah, they're all entangled.
Yeah. You change one thing, there's ripples outwards. It affects the past and the future.
Yeah.
Essentially, what he did was create a new universe. That's what he did. A universe where his mom was still alive and people are different and all this.
And then does he uncreate it in the end by fixing by?
No, because he doesn't fix it. Because obviously he saves his dad by moving the can to a higher shelf.
Well, does he then make another new universe?
Yeah, that's another universe.
Yeah,
that's Batman.
Yeah, that's why the yeah. So that version of Aquaman is technically a different version of Aquaman.
Well, arguably,
that's the thing about the end credits. They actually explained that Jason Momoa was always Aquaman. They said in the end credits scene. It was so weird. So I think that's why they're trying to like. I think they did that so people watch Aquaman 2 because they don't want to scrap that.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was a pretty cool way they explained it. Or, you know, use of spaghetti, but aside, it was pretty cool. And what else? We haven't spoken about like
the soundtrack. I was gonna ask if anybody really noticed the soundtrack.
I don't think so.
Because I felt like because obviously it was like orchestral, wasn't it? And I felt like it did. There were, because listening back to it, there were times, especially during the action moments, where I did feel those tingles. You know, I don't know if you know what I mean. Like, you know, like for example, what I was saying to you yesterday, Man of Steel. I feel like it's growing on me because whenever I watch the first flight scene, the score really brings that to life. Like the way he's kind of like the way it's building up as he's trying to learn how to fly. Kind of got that a little bit from this movie as well. Again, even though the running scenes didn't look that great, but I felt like it really established the atmosphere with the score. So and listening back to it again, it's really like had that impact on me again. So I do like the soundtrack. I will say that. Don't know about if you guys really.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I don't think it hit me, but
It's been
I'll
so long.
definitely give it another. Yeah.
I think for Flash, I can't remember if the soundtrack was that good in the Zack Snyder cut, but you know, like the scene in the Snyder cut, where Barry is about to run. He's about to run back in time for the first time.
That's a good soundtrack.
You know, and he's running up those kind of steps of light. So powerful that the imagery and the soundtrack of that scene was just like, wow, like I was in the moment. They should have done that in this film. They should have had something that epic in this film. In terms of the way they done the whole people of time travel, I think they should have gone with the whole steps of light and done something like that, because that just seemed very like divine. It was like divine, wasn't it? Like it was godly.
So with that one is because this one was a bit different, I think, because that Steps of Light one was actual time travel, whereas what he was doing here was like kind of like universal, because that's why it had to show all the multiverses and stuff. Whereas in this one, he was only going back like 5 minutes or something. So that's probably why they didn't go exactly the same way, because it's like a different type or a different what do I, like how big the time travel is basically. Like this is such a bigger scale version that they had to go with that crazy multiverse one.
Yeah, I think we lost Ruben. Yeah.
Oh, wait, his video feed's gone, I think. Can you hear us, Ruben?
I can hear him.
I can hear you. Sorry, just had to answer the door. Sorry.
Oh, fair enough.
Cool. I did hear everything you said. This was kind of like the whole kind of you explaining the universe, going into creating different universes as opposed to time travel. But I mean, I always thought those were one in the same. The second you change something, you do create a ripple in time. So anyway, my point being, visually, I thought that looked better, and I thought it looked more amazing than what they did in.
I agree. Exactly.
Yeah. And even how they done it in the CW, kind of through like a tunnel and seeing like events unfold, like different events on kind of screens. I even thought that was better than in this. To be honest, like this, makes it simpler for the viewer to understand what's happening and perceive what's happening. Whereas the whole bubble thing with all these kind of events popping up and down, like how is he navigating? Like I have no idea how he's navigating it. Yeah. So I just think not the best win for me, but maybe some people found it entertaining and likable. I also thought it.
If was good, then
you did.
Like I said before, I like the idea of it, but the execution was a bit weird.
Cool.
Sorry, Peter. I'll just say one thing quickly. I think I mentioned this to you, Peter, but I also thought it was real bad. Sometimes it looked.
I lost you, mate.
When he was time traveling, sometimes it looked like he was running backwards.
It did, yes.
I thouut that made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, the inertia. There was no sense of inertia. There was no sense of momentum in his running. So I don't blame you. Yeah.
It was weird.
All right. So but I want to say, guys. So we're like just going to an hour. Do you guys want to like go to the final thoughts, or is there anything else?
One more question I want to ask is what did you think of that one scene that Wonder Woman was actually in, where she was using her lasso of truth on Batman and the Flash?
I thought she was in this bloody film. Bloody popping up randomly. It was.
Yeah, I mean they did that joke before, didn't they, with Justice League with the Aquaman? And I was like, this joke again. I feel like they're gonna keep doing it.
You can't make Batman look like a chief, bro. I'm sorry. I know for comedy purposes, but Batman should have slipped that thing off him one time, bro.
I mean, the thing is,
Batman, bro. Do you know what I mean? That if that was Keaton, it would.
I believe you can get away with doing like Batman and comedy. I feel like you just gotta go about it the right way. I thought, as you said, like they just kind of made him look kind of silly, rather
Yeah.
than like.
Yeah.
And it's like the tonal whiplash as well, because you just kind of establish that he's like this serious like character. Because you got to establish it from the get go. Like Lego Batman, I think is so good because
That was brilliant.
it's not trying to be like it knows what it's trying to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with this one, it's just like just didn't quite work with the tones. And
It was so off-putting.
yeah, it was. So yeah, man.
At least it wasn't as bad as Joss Whedon's Justice League. The whole,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm bleeding, all right. I'm bleeding, or whatever he said. It wasn't as bad as that, at least. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one thing we need to touch on before we go to final thoughts. What did you guys think about the alternate Barry becoming the main antagonist of the movie? Basically becoming like the big bad Black Flash and being the antagonist.
I feel
Actually, it was like a third Barry, really, like the one
the
that
future version of the alternate. Yeah.
going, which I guess was an interesting way of doing it, but I don't know.
I feel like
That Barry does it. I think that is technically Savitar. I'm trying to remember the different bad guys.
No, that's what the way that they made him look. He looked like he was meant to be the Black Flash, like an entity which lives in the Speed Force, punishes messing with time. They gave him that look. Aaron decided to make him just a future version of the young Barry, which I thought it was heartfelt, because it's like, oh, this guy's been insane. He's insane. He's been trying to do this for basically decades and still losing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of felt like it was a bit underwhelming that they just went with another Barry, like another thing ever. For God's sake.
I feel like it was a very like paper thin villain, and probably one of the worst superhero movie villains I've ever. Is he meant to be a villain, or is he meant to be?
He's not
like,
really supposed to be a villain or anything.
You're meant to be sympathetic towards him. I think you're meant to be
I
sympathetic.
think for the scope, for the size and scope of this movie, I feel like it was just pathetic. Like I would say obviously he came out of nowhere, but obviously they did briefly establish who he was, or like his presence in this movie earlier when he kicks Barry into obviously the timeline. Precedes the rest of the events in the movie. But like you just never really, like, if you're not a Flash fan already, or if you're not like familiar with the DC comics, because I'm not familiar with this character. I don't know who he is, so I had like zero
I don't think he
clue.
exists. I think they made him up.
Really?
Yeah,
but I'm
I
just
think it was Savitar.
They gave him the likeness Flash, but they made up.
They made up a character.
They made up this version.
But I feel like
I don't think
The armored look is similar to Savitar, which is a version of Barry from the future.
Yeah, but that's like a different. It's I don't know if it's the same, but it's supposed to be like a time remnant version of Barry.
Yeah.
It's a remnant version of Barry. It's not actually Barry. It's this weird, confusing thing.
Yeah.
But this one, in this that Crazy Flash, if we will call him the Crazy Flash, but his heart was in the right place though, because he was still trying to save, the time.
Superwoman, Supergirl, or Batman.
Batman. So he was doing it for like good reasons. It just made him a bit insane. Whereas Savitar actually had evil plans and he wanted to destroy Barry and stuff. So yeah, just a new thing they came up with, which was admittedly a bit weird. Because initially I thought it was what you said with the Black Flash, the one that kind of gatekeeps. The Speed Force time travel part of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could have maybe put a bit more emphasis on why he has been unable to succeed. The fact that actually, again, kind of like what they've done with Marvel in Spider-Man. Obviously, it's not saying you can't change kind of canon events. Like maybe in this, it was meant to be inevitable fate to change.
Yeah.
They maybe could have put more emphasis on that to explain what, the fact that this is something which is inevitable. Arguably, if they did, it would have made it more obvious to that version of Crazy Barry, Crazy Flash, to not be trying to change it for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But again, it's just something which I think they should have, as to why it hasn't worked, even though he's been trying to basically his life.
Yeah. True.
And then I didn't really get that sense of when the young version of that Barry died, was impaled. Part of me wanted to feel really sad. Oh man, such a lack. I was just like predictable. I didn't care as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
Which I think they wanted to make that part for didn't really compute for me. I don't know if it did for any of you. But yeah,
They definitely could have made it better, but I think for me, actually did hit a soft spot because I did start to like him during the film and stuff. So yeah, for me it did hit a bit, but as you said, yeah, it definitely could have been more impactful if they wrote everything better.
yeah, 100.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, you guys ready to go to final thoughts or
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go first quick.
Cool.
I haven't even thought, so I'll just kind of figure out talking. But yeah, I found the movie enjoyable. While I was watching it, I was trying to change and all the stuff, same for comics and animated cartoons. So yeah, they did change like a few pivotal points and a few things not pivotal. So obviously, in like the comics, I think he finds like another version of like Super. But again, that didn't really affect the story. One thing which they did do was they made him find another version of Bruce Wayne when he goes back into the future, whereas in the comics, I think it's meant to be his dad, Thomas Wayne, and he's meant to be like this really darker version of Batman who uses guns and shit and kills people. So that was really cool in the comics, and obviously this very different version of, I'm not even sure if he was called Batman or not, I think he was. But yeah, I think that was kind of a missed could have done in this film. But I get that they wanted to monopolize on Keaton while they were. I'll let that slide. Keaton was rarely the selling point for the movie for me. It was just that nostalgia in the music from the original Batman movies, the kind of the catchphrases and iconic lines he's made. Just seeing his costume and his face in the movie elevated it a lot higher than it would have been otherwise. I don't think The Flash alone would have been able to stand on its own 2 feet as a cinema. So yeah, that being said, I think I would probably give the movie I think I'll give it a out of 10.
what was that again? You cut out.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was quite enjoyable to watch. But I think the only reason I can score because I know the story from the comic and because I know Keaton. If I didn't have those 2 elements,
Yeah.
a lot lower. So yeah, I've given it a fanboy score basically. 6 out of 10.
That's generous, man.
The Flash is one of my top 4 favorite DC characters because he's one of the few DC characters who has actually think about how to use his powers rather than just go out there and punch things.
Mhm.
So I think while this movie did do some things right about the character and his powers, they did a lot more of it wrong. The main part being the running. You can't have a speedster running weird. It's just the whole thing is he runs. You don't like when the man runs. What am I here for? But aside from that, he wasn't the main focus of this movie. It seemed to be Batman and Supergirl, even though she was in it for like 20 minutes. Overall, I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. It was just a bit bland, is the word I'm looking for. It had some exciting scenes, but nothing that make you just jump out your seat and go, that was amazing. So overall, my score would be I'd just give it a 6. Just slightly above average.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because of Keaton and or the fact that we have another live action Flash movie. Hopefully the next movie the Flash is in is a lot better. But got to start somewhere.
Cool.
I go next. So yeah, I mean I can only maybe go what he said already. And the big one is what Cam literally just said is that with a Flash movie, you got to make the running and the actual running actions look bloody good, and that's where they really failed. And that was such a big every time you just think about that film, you just remember that, and obviously it puts a bad taste in your mouth. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it was like an awful movie or anything, because I do appreciate the things they did get right, the thought they did put into certain ideas. As Peter said before, they had a good first draft. They just didn't know how to get it to the next level. They had some really, they couldn't really evolve the script to really, I guess, cause the impacts they really wanted to cause. As we said, it could have had the better writing and stuff. So Yeah, a lot of good bits, a lot of bad bits. Keaton, as always, is what's going to elevate my score. If Keaton wasn't in this and they didn't have any of the scenes, it would be a lot lower. What I'm going to say. So yeah, Keaton really saved a lot of the movie. I think the third act was actually quite fun as well. The so the whole war bit, I think there was like a between Zod's army and like Flash and stuff. I think there's one bit I think we forgot to talk about was the when the two Flashes finally like kind of got together, and then like the other ones like started to realize how to use his powers and stuff, and then they kind of teamed up and did that little cool sequence of them just fighting together and stuff. So that was a really good highlight as well. That was probably the one bit of the film that actually had some good running like fight scenes and stuff. So that also kind of saved parts of the film. But overall, the ending itself, like the bit where you said with the Black Flash, like it was such a strange direction to go for, especially when you establish it properly and stuff. So it feels like they had so many like interesting ideas and stuff. They didn't know how to connect them properly, but they were like, "Oh, this is so good. Let's just put him in there anyway. No one's gonna notice." And yeah, it just became a slight mess, just like the spaghetti on the bloody plate. So, my final score, like I said, not awful, but not great either. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Cool, man. Wow. So basically, I guess that just leaves me. So, oh man, we might be here for a while because I've got a lot of things to say. Like, okay, first of all, I just want to say like, I wish like I had like kind of an inkling that this movie would be the way it turned out to be, as in like, not great, because like I was just so hyped for this film. Like, as I said to you guys before this movie was coming out, I was like, I have a good feeling about this movie. I feel like it's gonna be good because there was so much like so much buzz around it. Also, obviously with like the Ezra Miller thing and like the WB trying to trying to like sweep things under the carpet and like, obviously trying to fix the situation. And like you had like Tom Cruise, you had Cameron, even James Gunn. They were all coming out saying this is like one of the best superhero movies. So like I just started to get excited. And obviously, I said to you before, I thought Christian Bale was in it because again with the trailers put all the best bits in it, as Will says with DC movies. So I think he's like immune to it. But me, I still have hope. I still have like ambition that we're gonna have that one like great DC movie, and I thought this was gonna be it. So. Yeah, my hopes and dreams. As soon as I saw that CG, I was like, oh. Was that watching the car?
Beginning of the film, bro.
Was I watching the car crash, man? And like, honestly, I wish you guys warned me before I went into this because I think I was like the last one to see it. But yeah, man, it's just like, I was just like so. I didn't know like how to feel. I was numb because I was like watching this thinking, like, this really can't. Like, is it really that bad? And yeah. I was just like, okay, fair enough. But yeah,
you sound so hurt, bro.
Yeah, no, I was, honestly, like, I have trust issues now. Like, I trusted Hollywood. I'll never be like sold into a movie again after this. I don't think it was definitely not a superhero movie. So I'll always have that like skepticism about like, oh, it looks good, but it's just
when people say Peter, who hurt you, bro? It was the Flash.
Yeah, man. Even certain reviews were saying it was good, so I was like, wow, this like. They couldn't have been more wrong. Like, but anyway, like that aside, I feel like this film could be iconic. Like, I feel like this film is one of those movies that definitely has like mileage behind it, because I feel in like maybe 10, even 20 years, people will still be talking about this movie. It's like that cult film, and I feel like the reason why is because there'll be a documentary that comes out that is better than the actual movie itself. Like, I feel like the story behind the film is more interesting than the actual film, if you know what I mean, because so many things went wrong, like behind the camera and in front of the camera. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously with Ezra Miller, his whole antics, and like WB kind of like forcing their hand, with this movie. I just felt like I really want to know the story behind that, like from the perspective of the people who worked on the film. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's definitely going to become like a cult classic in that respect. And also just the film itself, it just has like some really strange decisions in it, namely the ending, obviously them trying to like throw everything at the screen, and like just the weird ass villain I was telling you about that you said is not even in the comics, but like there was just I just didn't get a sense of what his motivation was, like what he's trying to. I think he gave some like weak exposition, but it just didn't hit home. And I was like, for this size of a movie, like 200 million, this villain is just terrible. Like, obviously I get, and some of the dialogue was just awful as well. Like, one that stood out to me was Zod. Obviously I know this is kind of like them doing a throwback to Man of Steel, so they didn't put as much work into like fleshing out him as a character, but he just felt so robotic. He like, the way he would say his dialogue, he's like, I have the Supergirl now. I will kill Supergirl to resurrect my people. Like, he's just talking like a robot. Like, there's just no character, no personality there.
Michael Shannon actually explained that, like he said, because I think you saw the article that he said that this movie, after Man of Steel, they actually cared about how to write and stuff. This one was more like someone playing with action figures.
Yeah,
as he just as well. He felt like he was an action figure.
Yeah, no, I did feel that way. Like, it felt like an AI script, basically. Like, they went to Chat GPT and I was like, yeah, let's write some quick lines for this character. But yeah, I was just like, on so many levels, there was just like a catalogue of errors with this movie. So I feel like it's kind of gone into that so bad it's good territory, where it's gonna have that legacy behind it. So for that reason, like, I feel like it's so awful that it has some redeeming qualities, and it does actually have like some things behind it that have had potential from a better writing team to actually be good. Like, the whole again, you know, he left, what do you call it, they go back to that scene where he's in the supermarket and he has that like encounter with his mum, and that was the learning lesson. He had to like, the character actually develops. There's character development within Barry, because he learns that he has to let his mum die in order to restore the universe. Yeah, so that self-sacrifice is actually profound, and I was like, oh, that actually was a good thing. So I feel like this movie does have that emotional core to it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, it's just so that like if you put on a scale, like, oh, good versus bad, it's just like the good is like,
it's got spikes. It's got spikes.
Yeah,
it's got like spikes,
literally.
and that's it.
So for that reason, I feel that this movie is a cult classic, and I can see that already. I feel like it's a perfect storm of just having like the, you know, crazy, obviously, actor who was chased by police. He was a fugitive at one point, so he was like,
he was on the run.
A villain in real life. He was a villain in real life, yeah. And WB was trying to clean up his mess and like just trying to like fix things, and yeah, just the press tours, and the fact that he actually came out on the red carpet, I was like, what? Okay, but anyway. But yeah, man, I feel like the whole story, is just too good not to tell, and like not to like look forward to hearing more things about it. I like to watch documentaries about films, especially films with like production, like bad production, legendary production. So this film is just legendary already. It's gonna make its mark, or it has made its mark. But anyway, yeah, for me, for the actual documentary that I'm gonna watch, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. No, I'm joking. For this movie, I'll probably have to give it a 3, man, because yeah, it let me down really. I feel like my expectations were too high, but it's their fault for like trying lying to me, basically. Like, it's blatant lies. Like anyone with a brain cell is not gonna generally think this is a good movie. I'm sorry, but
yeah. And I tell you one thing, we always go on about, like, you know, if the directors stick to the source material, they could, you know, things would be fine.
Yeah.
But this didn't actually deviate too much from the source material, and it was a bit of a nightmare. So to have good directorship and good writing as well, you can't just get away with relying on source material, because that alone won't work.
No.
So yeah, I'm surprised we didn't talk about that scene with his.
Yeah, bro, you just as soon as you said scene, just was like.
I was saying the scene in the supermarket with I'm surprised we didn't speak about that, because that was quite a heartfelt scene.
Yeah, I did bring that up.
Yeah.
I did mention that. Yeah.
I got me the theory, I think, actually. So yeah.
I was close as well. I won't lie. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That like this movie does have emotional heartbeats that actually do kind of make you feel something. So again, I feel like there was the potential to be a good movie if like everything else had been good. But unfortunately, just another DC
I mean,
flop.
apart What makes it like almost a good movie is that because the source material was so good. So it's
Yeah.
Paradox, the actual comic and the actual the animated movie was so well done. And basically everything, most of the things that's good about this movie is basically what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right. Well, that's cool. So, what did I give it? Did I give it 3?
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 3, 5,
I've updated
6,
the note
6.
already.
All
So
right.
I think, can I just say, if we don't know what Law scored it, we can ask him for our next review at the beginning. But I suspect, at first I thought Law was going to give it a 3, but if Peter's giving it a 3, I'm going to say Law's going to give it a 2.